Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the penultimate day of February in this leap year of 2012, which is to say, February 28th. Another gorgeous, unseemingly gorgeous February day here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and probably in St. Louis, Missouri as well, where my sister Susan is ensconced. Hi, Suze.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing better, thank you.
Oh, well, that begs a follow-up question.
The fire department came by to do spring cleaning on the fire hydrants in the area yesterday and succeeded in blowing out the water main that's located directly in front of my house.
Did that destroy your yard in any way?
It destroyed the street right in front of my driveway. It turned off my water till about 4 o'clock this morning when it started spewing mud out of my faucet.
Well, God bless them.
But they fixed it. They bless their hearts. They worked all night.
Well, they darn well better. They came by to what? Do some general preventive maintenance and ended up creating a disaster?
Well, they left. The fire department left. It was the poor water guys that had to come and
So the
clean up after them.
Oh, the fire department. Okay. I was thinking the fire department cleaned it up. No, of course they didn't. They just created the mess.
No, they had to blow up. They had to further blow up my street, all in the middle of the night. So jackhammer.
Well, all right. Well,
I'm cheery, and you?
I'm fine. Although I awoke this morning to find water all over my bathroom floor for no reason in particular that I could ascertain.
A leak under your sink?
I don't know. It will require further investigation. However, I did not have time before exiting my abode to get here. So we'll go back to the lake on my second floor after the show. So there, we both had little things to deal with.
Water issues.
But such is life. Eh? Such is life. That's what it comes down to. So, got lots of stuff to talk about, Susan. They're all over the board. Today, politically, of course, is the long-awaited.
Please, God.
Michigan, who you rooting for?
Who am I rooting? Gee, I don't know who I'm rooting for.
No, I'm serious.
Do I have to root for one of them?
Well, yeah. Don't you want one of them to win? I see, I want Santorum to win tonight.
Well, I guess I want Santorum to win, right?
Okay. So, just to keep it
especially if he keeps saying things like Obama's a snob because he believes in college education.
Isn't that,
stuff.
Well, welcome to the Rick we all know and loathed enough to throw him out the door. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I have to say, I have learned some very interesting things. I read that Murdoch rag on my iPad, the Daily, and I have to confess, I sometimes comment.
The Daily News? I thought it was the New York Post.
No. On the iPad, there is a publication that is a Murdoch publication that exists solely on the iPad.
Oh, okay. I know.
Designed for the iPad.
I know it not. All right.
Okay.
And what are you reading there?
Well, what I'm reading is I was commenting on something like Santorum, and in the course of which and we were talking about contraception, in the course of which I tried to write the word vagina.
And it doesn't allow you to write it?
It does not allow me to write the word vagina, as if that is a dirty curse word.
So,
and then some snarky male individual responds to me by offering me a tissue.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, it's a sexual reference to...
vaginal things.
Right. And I actually wrote, well, thank you for proving my point, because you can make that sort of disgusting sexual illusion. It gets right by.
I can't believe, you mean, so you go...
And I can't write the word vagina without it coming out star, 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 star.
I can't believe you bother talking to people you don't
I can't
know.
help it. I get so apoplectic reading this rag that I just, every once in a while, I
just
pop off.
can't. I mean, I guess every once in very rarely do I find
You
myself doing
Twitter, right?
excuse me, I tweet.
You tweet, right?
On Twitter. Yes, but
Okay.
rarely,
and are you telling me you never let any snark fly?
Do I let snark fly? I don't think so. Yeah, I probably do. Sure.
Yeah, okay. So what's the difference?
Okay, there's none at all, except I'm only doing it to like a carnival barker to attract people to the program, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
But okay, so you've been.
I'm doing it because I'm a lonely, isolated old woman.
You're a liberal in the Republican
suburbs. And I'm a liberal trapped in Missouri.
Trapped in Missouri. Well, there's lots of liberals trapped in an awful lot of red states these days. So yeah. Well,
I hope you're all registered to vote.
Man.
Anyway, so yes, get on with it. I was just sort of
well, let's not. Yeah, okay, let's not go there yet. Let's start off easy and talk about one of my favorites. And I know as soon as I say this, people are going to tune out. Don't tune out. I know I get a little crazy sometime on the subject of language, but I do love it. And I came upon two language nuggets. Thank you, Jared. In my perusal of the papers today.
Me too. I got one of them.
You got the one in the New York Times.
Yep.
About the fact that it's young girls, adolescent girls into 20-something girls, who are very responsible for moving I hate to say moving the language forward, but for creating new locutions and stuff, such as Valley Girl speak, that up talk. You know that.
Yeah, well, Valley Girl was more than just. It was also pronunciation.
Okay, but I want to say up. So let's do some. The up talk I hear all the time now.
So I went shopping.
Yeah. So
and I
do you talk
a new
to Jess
pair of shoes?
Shoes? And you know that guy.
And they're really hot.
Yeah, so it's taking a statement, which you learned when you went to grade school, ends, if something ends in a period, your voice goes down at the end. If it ends in a question mark, it goes up. But this kind of talk, a period goes up as well. So,
well, and they're saying it's for a reason. It's because it's engaging. That
well, it doesn't, but
that you would put your voice goes up at a question, at the end of a question, inviting a response.
That's what I hate about it, because it's not. They say it was miscast as being needy and sort of it and insecure, and I do think there's an element of that in it, because they're just putting a positive spin on that.
Oh, I agree.
Because anytime somebody is talking to you, another verbal tick that does the same thing to the listener is the constant use of because as the listener, you end up having to nod your assent all the time to agree, and that's your normal reaction to that upspeak as well, to constantly give validation to the speaker, right?
Right.
Isn't that what they're going for? So
they're going for at least the validation of any kind of response.
And I have such trouble doing it. It's so alien to my personality. But so if I take the sky is blue. Okay, so up talk is I have trouble doing it. The sky is blue? Is that it?
Here's how you can do it. Try and do it with a Yiddish accent, because Jews have been doing
Jews
it for years.
That's true. Yeah. So the sky is blue. I should talk to you.
There you go.
Oh, so it's just a. Well, then how do we credit these little Valley girls
it was
when it was a bunch of Jews?
No, it was just an attempt by little blonde valley girls to appear more Semitic.
So what am I, chopped liver? No, but that is a question. That is a question. So it doesn't work on a question. Jews do it with a statement too? Let's make a statement. Are you sure it's the Jewish thing?
Well, I mean, you know.
Wait a minute.
I should go shopping.
Well, that's really saying, should I go shopping? That's a question.
I understand, but I mean, that's a Jew. But it's not really a question.
All right. I'll have to think about that some more.
As in, so new. As in, which is what else is new? It's a question, but it's really a statement. Rhetorical, I believe.
I don't know. Okay. So anyway, the linguistic crowd say that girls and women in their teens and 20s deserve credit for pioneering vocal trends and popular slang, and that they do then go into the culture so that men now do, on occasion, engage in uptalk and other what started as these young female locutions. And they said that there's a new one afoot.
Which you just spent the last 5 minutes doing.
I did.
It's how you talk.
Also, in other words, they're ripping me off?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait. It's called a vocal fry. And here's how it's defined in the New York Times today. The professors say that they found evidence of a new trend among female college students, a guttural fluttering of the vocal cords they call vocal fry. What is it, Susan? You say I do it?
Well, the way you just said, what was it? Well, they use interesting as a interesting.
Oh,
there you do it all the time.
Oh, okay, that's it. Well, they threw me off when they said a classic example of a vocal fry, best described as a raspy or croaking sound injected at the end of a sentence, can be heard when Mae West says, and you see, they've got the quote right here, "Why don't you come up sometime and see me?" So it's that.
Yeah.
And that is, they say, getting to be the vocal trend coming down the pike, guys. So,
well, can I just say that men will sound better doing that than uptalk?
Yes.
Because no one sounds good doing uptalk.
Well, it just sounds so unsure of yourself. You know,
well, it's certainly, especially when I hear, you know, you frequently hear it when women are being interviewed in, you know, situations on television where they should want to appear powerful and sure of themselves.
And instead they just keep offering up these little questions.
Right.
Right, posed as, well, you know, blah, 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 blah.
Right. It's like, you know, people needing vocal coaches in order to...
It drives me nuts. Now, Suze, when I was, you know, when I was a young woman in my 20s and 30s, I actively tried and succeeded in stopping myself from doing what young women do ad nauseum, and that is tittering or giggling after they make a statement.
Right.
And that is another indication of women not sure of themselves. So, well,
right.
I think blah, 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 blah. Well, I think... Jess is doing it in the background. She can't help herself. But I used to do that, and I forced myself to stop because people don't take you as seriously when you do that.
No, and
so you got to stop.
And when I was a 25-year-old new young lawyer on Wall Street, and you know, thinking internally, what the am I doing here? what I did is just, I mean, we've talked about this.
Oh, yeah,
I channeled our father's voice.
So you tried to sound like Dad, right?
So I lowered my voice, and I spoke very deliberately. And I paused frequently.
So isn't that's interesting? So that women, and I was able to do it, and I do counsel young women when they like say, well, do you have any advice for me? I often say, don't titter after a statement. Say it, you know, and that would go with the up talk and all that stuff.
Well, and the other rule is what you're always yelling at me about. Say it like you believe it.
Yeah, well, that's all. Even if you don't. Well, what do you mean? You're always saying things like you believe them, and you don't. I mean, you're always making stuff up, and you come up with.
I still believe it.
Well, yes. That's sort of like you could learn that in acting school. You know, you
Right.
gotta believe.
Well,
you gotta be real.
Listen, I went to law school. What's the difference?
I don't know. Perhaps none. So anyway, guys, listen to. I apparently, without me knowing it, am a trailblazer on the latest new linguistic whatever, and it is the vocal fry. Which, if you think about it, I'm always going to the ENT guy because I fry my vocal cords all the time, and my cords are always in trouble. And
you and Adele.
Yes, Adele and I do have a lot in common, I must say. Okay. Now, the other linguistic thing, and I brought this up before, is the finishing of that decades-long effort to finish. I've used that twice now. The Dictionary of American Regional English, which tells people what things are called, all the verbs and nouns and adjectives in America that don't necessarily translate from region to region.
Such as bubbler.
Susan, bubbler is the first word in a headline on the front page of USA Today today.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
No, I know, but bubbler is what you and I always come up with because we left our home and went out into the world.
And we're thirsty for years.
Yes, and we both must have had the same experience on more than one occasion when we said, quite innocently, like the rubes from Green Bay we were, where's the bubbler? And instead found ourselves being looked at like we were aliens, you know, who had just said...
Which we were, in
yeah,
fact.
take me to your leader. Where's the bubbler? And it turns out, Susan, it says here, if you've never... This is the lead sentence. If you've never put your lips to a bubbler, you're probably not from Wisconsin. So it's
only in Wisconsin?
Yeah, they say only in Wisconsin. It's just this little, and I thought maybe I think it might actually be smaller than that. But bubbler is very localized, very regionalized, and they come up with such one of the first stories I did here in Pittsburgh when I got here because there were so many words here I didn't know what they meant. Like if I were to say to you, Susan. Boy, you need to red up the room. You ever heard of that?
And I assume you don't mean that I need to repaint. You mean I need to clean?
Yes. That's
ready up.
Who the hell knows? Maybe. What are some others around here? Jumbo. Do you know what jumbo is? You want jumbo for lunch?
No.
Baloney.
Baloney is jumbo?
Yeah.
Because that's what it makes you?
Jesus, Jess. I don't know. I don't know. What else? Do you know about what are some of the locutions here? I don't even know them, and I can't even think of one. But there were so many that I thought, good Lord, what language are they speaking around here? So I did go out into the town with a photographer in tow, and this is for Pittsburghers. I actually went down to the Jenkins Arcade, which Susan was this wonderful. I thought it was magical. It was like, I don't know what you would say. It was the most extraordinary old building downtown that was how do you describe that? That was a, what is that? That all that central space was empty. I mean, let's say
An
it was
atrium?
Well, let's say it was like 12 stories tall or 14 stories tall, but it consisted, unless I'm remembering this incorrectly, of it was only on the edges. There was this whole then 12 stories of empty space in a square at the center of it. So
right, that's
even if
an atrium.
Is that an atrium all the way around?
Yeah.
I mean,
so
anyway,
so like all of those Hyatt hotels that are shaped like that.
Oh, okay.
Those are
atria.
Yeah.
So on the here's my memory of it, because they tore this wondrous building down very soon after. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the building that replaced it. Fifth Avenue place. Yeah, there it is. But Jenkins Arcade, oh my God. Anyway, so I went into the Jenkins Arcade and wandered around and asked people for the bubbler. And oh man, did I get some funny stuff. Nobody knew what I was talking about. But here in the dictionary, here's some more things on it. It's a toad strangler in the Gulf states. It's a turd floater in Texas. And it's a fence lifter in the Ozarks. What is it?
It's a gully washer.
Okay, maybe so. That's right. It's
a bad rainstorm.
It's a heavy rain. I particularly love turd floater, seeing as I have
I like turd floater, too.
Seeing as I have some plumbing problems today myself. Okay. Okay. And then,
those elegant Texans.
Yeah. Well, that's calling it like it is, actually. So, there you have it. And Bree writes from his iPad, nobody knows where dude came from. Do we know that for sure? Have we checked the Dictionary of American Regional English? Because they probably would. But dude, I don't know. I can't offhand. Even Susan, who's good at BSing, can't come up with something. Can you?
No.
Okay. If anybody knows where
dude. It was always. I mean, it's old because a dude ranch. It's always meant a guy. A dude ranch was cowboys.
Yeah, but how old do you think that locution is? A dude ranch. That might be relatively new too. I don't know. If anybody does, let us know. Dude. Okay. Wait, I'm on the wrong email. There we go. Okay. Suze. Wait. Pina has something about a bubbler. Hang on. My computer's slow. Pina says, my husband went to school and lived in Rhode Island for 3 years, and they refer to water coolers as bubblers.
So there.
Huh. When he ordered a chocolate milkshake, he was given a glass of chocolate milk because a milkshake is called a frap or frappe. I don't know how they pronounce it. Frap, I think. Huh. There you go. And then the one we all bump into, no matter where, if you go off to college, if you don't listen to Rick Santorum and you go off to college to interact with different kinds of people with different ideas, if you venture out of the little bubble that your mommy and daddy have made for you, well, you just might end up with a conversation like, where can I get a pop? What? Where can I get a pop? A Coke? Oh, you mean a soda? Now, who hasn't had that conversation?
But pop shows up in all sorts of different places.
Okay, but it seems to me that we grew up calling it pop and possibly soda pop, right? You put the two together, soda pop.
Right.
I don't know. Who cares? All right. Speaking, because Rick Santorum seemed to come up again. I just can't. I just can't get the snob thing out of my head. When you heard it, did you think it was maybe a joke? I mean, when I first heard him say, even I, who know the guy, know what he's capable of saying, and thought I was beyond being surprised when he followed his question of, it wasn't a question he made, that Barack Obama wants everyone to go to college, right? And I thought, yeah. And then there was that pause, and then he says, what a snob. And the crowd cheers.
Right.
And
he's playing to the crowd.
But I thought, what the hell are you talking about? And here's a guy, by the way. I think I'm starting to figure this out. Here's a guy who has more degrees than I do. He's got more degrees than you do, and you got a law degree. He's got a law degree. He's got a BA. He's got an MBA. This is a guy who's got 3 degrees, and he's putting down education. And here's what I figured out. His fear is, and I do think he believes it, that if you go to college, you will come in contact with, liberal professors who are going to screw your head up. You're going to bump into these different and challenging ideas, or from his point of view, wrong-headed ideas. And whatever it is your parents or your other teachers or whatever have taught you is going to get crushed under all of this propaganda and indoctrination in these universities that are really simply camouflaged liberal indoctrination mills. And here's what I've decided. I've decided that he and his wife, who homeschool, of course, their kids, I bet it's because of her experience. That's my guess. Because she came from a strongly Catholic family. Then she went off to college. And people who knew her in college here say she was indistinguishable from all the other liberal, progressive-y, slightly hippie with it girls, who then, of course, takes up with a man old enough to be her grandfather, who's an abortion provider, lives in sin with him for 7 years, because she had been she left her home, went to college, and became, this monster, as far as they're concerned, this lost soul, until Rick saved her. That's my guess. What do you think?
Yeah, the convert mentality, you mean?
Well, yeah, I do think. And I think that they have the cautionary tale they can tell their children is, well, Mommy went to college and, her head got all screwed up by these people she came in contact with, and she thought abortion was fine, and she thought, I don't know if they'd even admit this to it, but I'm sure that when the news came out and they had to talk to their children about her past, that is the tack they would take. And so now that, that's what they think, because she's a very bright woman, and yet she had her head polluted in college before Rick came upon her and saved her. I'm absolutely sure that's where this is coming from. So, I don't know. If anybody disagrees with me, let me know. But of course you can't, because I'm so right on. Susan!
Yes.
Jesus, what's with your reaction time?
Sorry.
What are you doing?
I was
What are you
goes off
doing?
during
I know
your,
her well enough. What are you
conversation.
doing? You're on your iPad and you're having an argument with some red state lunatic. Is that what you're doing? Are you playing solitaire, bridge?
No.
What are you doing?
I'm listening.
Yeah, right. So when I say Susan, there's a 5-second pause.
Well, I'm aging.
You're so full of. You know, you might be infected with that virus, the toxovirus, because
What toxovirus?
Oh, don't get me going on that. I'll do it off air with you sometime. It's the toxovirus that's found in cat poop. And
No, don't say that. You mean the one that sits in your lungs and?
No, it sits wherever it damn well pleases. I think it sits in your brain more than your lungs. And they're finding out that people who have it, and huge percentages of the human population have it, by the way.
When they get Alzheimer's?
No. Well, they are more given to schizophrenia, but you've passed that threshold. But they also have a slightly slower reaction time. So if you look at car accidents, the percentage of people that do have the toxovirus is well over what it should be if it was just if it wasn't possibly.
Okay. Well, I'm not passing that test because I'm one of those people that is literally going 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, while the idiot behind me tries to register, or in front of me tries to register that light is green.
Yeah, well, that just means you're a person filled with hostility and
right. I'm an enraged driver.
Yes, and we all have that. We all do, and I don't know where the hell that came from. Mother. You know, when you're little kids and you sit in the back seat of a car that your mother's driving, I think you do pick up her driving habits.
Well, I guess, but take it from me, she's over that now.
Well, that's good. Thank God. I mean, you don't want to.
She just screams at you, slow down, slow down.
You don't want a 90-year-old bat out of hell on the road. Okay, I'm taking a break. See. For that matter, you don't want a 60-year-old bat out of hell on the road either. I mean, people, it's crazy. It really is how you get nuts, but you do. I mean, I know I do. And my son has always made jokes about my driving, and I have certain friends who are afraid to drive with me. Even though I'm a good driver. I just don't drive like the little old ladies that they do drive like. Whatever. Anyway. The friend who's afraid to drive with me is the same one who thinks green means stop and red means go. Jesus. All right. Quick break.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to bergbargains.com to sign up for a chance to win a Seven Springs Mountain Resort getaway. bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's only online deal site where the deals don't expire. bergbargains.com. Pittsburgh City Paper's first ever money issue is available now. Pick up one today for Britt Floyd, Julia Nunez, Sebastian Junger, and Robert Irvine from the Food Channel's Restaurant Impossible. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
All righty, we are back. So, yeah, I am curious as to whether the Republicans in Michigan will elect the guy who said that his wife, trying to endear himself with the Americans to show he's a regular guy, that he drives a this and a that, and his wife drives a couple of Cadillacs. How out of it?
I thought
that is my favorite.
I just start to feel sorry for the poor person.
You do. I
He's
do too.
just telling the truth.
He's telling the truth, and he doesn't get it. He just doesn't know that the world he grew up in doesn't bear a whole lot of resemblance to the world that other people. Colette, don't worry. Colette screams at me on the, please, enough of that cat poop discussion. I don't have a cat, and I can't bear to hear about it again. All right, I'll stop. I apparently freaked a lot of people out with that. I was so into it. And I tried to talk to our brother on the phone about it, and he told me that he'd had it. And Mom told me when I tried to tell her about it that I was making her sick.
So I'm your only nice family member.
Yeah, you're the only one who didn't totally, turn on me. But then I didn't.
I like to talk about poop.
Oh yeah, okay, but I didn't subject you to the detail that I. Okay. Chris writes, I know in the past you and Susan were watching Dancing with the Stars. Just wondering, since they announced the new.
Donald Driver's on.
You're kidding!
No.
Okay. I don't have the full list here. Susan says Donald Driver. That's you
Sherry
guys.
Shepard.
No, wait, Donald
Jack Wagner.
Wait,
Donald Driver.
Stop. I just want to say most people here don't have a clue Donald Driver is. I just wanted to tell them. Green Bay Packer. Okay? Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight? Who's Jack Wagner?
Martina Navratilova.
Are you kidding?
Steve Urkel.
Honest.
Urkel.
Steve Urkel?
Yeah. Sherry Shepard, Melissa Gilbert, Little House on the Prairie. Who's Jack Wagner?
He's this handsome guy that was on General Hospital years and years and years ago, and lately is the on and off again love interest of what's her name that's always in rehab, blonde woman, not Lindsay Lohan, old. Heather Locklear.
Heather Locklear. Oh, okay. Because around here he's a politician. I saw Jack Wagner and I thought,
no, he's a handsome guy. He'll be fun to watch.
Okay, well that sounds like a pretty good
It's
bunch.
actually a good season.
It sounds like a good bunch. And Chris also wants your review of the Academy Awards.
Okay. I get grumpy at all the people saying, "Oh, it's so boring. Do something with the show." It has been boring for the last 50 years. We watch it like idiots anyway. So that's my general review. I thought Billy Crystal had way too much Botox and filler in his face, making him less funny because he can't mug as well.
Was that the reason? I just thought he looked embalmed. He looked
but that's
old.
part he can't mug. I mean, he used to make all these silly faces,
Yeah.
and that would cue you to laugh with him. He can't do it anymore.
Do you really think that's what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, how awful. What is
And I
with
also
people?
think that Angelina Jolie needs to be institutionalized for many reasons, but first we need to save her life from anorexia, and then we can deal with her mental health, her other mental health issues.
But she's not alone in that. I mean,
no, but she was those arms that she was jutting out looked like just skin over
bone.
Over bones.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah.
And I really liked The Bridesmaids. I thought the Scorsese drinking game
Cute.
was very cute, and I did like the Descendants writers doing the Angelina Jolie pose right after.
Yeah. I guess I didn't see that because
That's my whole review.
I get bored. I was doing dishes and stuff. I kept wandering in and out of the room, so I did not see that. But
well, it's always boring, and they always say do something with the show. The show, whatever they decide to do is boring.
But it's odd that an event that celebrates all of this talent can't put on a show.
Well, isn't it funny? Because the Grammys, for example,
do put on a show.
That show gets better and better and better.
The Grammys get better and better and better. But, one of the reasons is they have stopped giving out, they just see it as a showcase. And,
right.
and Grammys, you can get up and sing, but you can't get up and make a movie. I mean, you can't do that on stage. So maybe that's part of the problem, too. And the other reason this wasn't as much fun this year is that nobody wears anything outrageous anymore.
No, the clothes were boring.
Yeah.
Although, did you happen, because I saw it live, did you happen to see Sacha Baron Cohen?
No, I didn't.
Oh, God, that was so funny.
You think it was funny?
Ryan, well, what was funny was how angry Ryan Seacrest was.
I don't know. Sacha Baron Cohen annoys me, huh?
Well, he does annoy me, but, dropping pancake batter powder on Ryan Seacrest is not the worst thing in the world.
Well, all right. Whatever. Well, I think that's...
that was it.
That was it. But
I think we did that pretty well.
Okay. Billy Crystal was not as funny as he usually was, although he's
No.
still funny, but maybe you're right that he couldn't mug. And I'm sick of all these skinny ladies, and I loved it when some woman who looked like a woman was up there. I mean, I love that. I cannot stand that look. I can't stand it.
No, it's
Bones. How
It's
do
not-
men? How would you like to go to bed with a bunch of bones? I mean, there's like you can get impaled on an errant hip bone. Yeah, an elbow can kill you. There's bones all over the place. There's no padding. There's nothing to cuddle up to. Bones. And how come their faces don't get absolutely emaciated? Well, some of them do.
Well, the same stuff that Billy Crystal's using. For example, oh, God, what's her name? The one that went out with Jennifer Diaz.
Cameron Diaz.
Have you watched her face morph lately?
No.
Her mouth is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Her face is getting harder and more pulled and more pulled. And she's a fairly, she's not so old that she should have had that much work
Why
done to
do
her face
these
already.
women do this? And I know locally they're doing it. I know people who do it, and they're all younger than I am. And I'm thinking, I guess you get addicted to it too because it doesn't last. And then as your face starts to return to its normal self, you run in and get it injected again. Is there some cumulative effect where you end up with essentially a death mask by the age of 50?
I have no idea. But, I mean, I've noticed all of my friends, I'm mysteriously the only one that has any lines anywhere in their face.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Crazy.
It's pretty crazy. But, I mean, what I think is crazy is that it doesn't look good.
Well, you see, I think where they grabs them is initially it might look better. Don't you think? I mean, initially a line gets erased or this and that. But then they go hog wild, and before you know it, because they're doing the lines between their eyebrows, all of a sudden you can't move your eyebrows. And so,
and then they do the line over their mouth, the lines over their lips, and all of a sudden you can't
move your
smile
mouth
or sneer or frown or talk very well. Just check out Barbara Walters. I mean, she never could talk. Now she can't talk at all.
Really?
She can't move her mouth.
Why would you want to be in that frozen state? So at what point do they stop doing it? I mean, when they turn 75 or 80, do they give
I don't
it
know.
up?
And whoever
And then
convinced
does your
women that lips should look like, excuse me, star, as in labia, I don't know.
Well, Susan, I think God thought that. Why? I mean,
these lips that are so exploded
that's why lips
all
are
over
a
one's
sexual.
face. It
Lips
does not look good.
have a sexual purpose, and they do mimic the labia.
Yes, I know, but
of course, men have lips, and it doesn't mimic the labia in
God
them.
was a better designer.
Hey, go on Rupert Murdoch's iPad site and see if you can type labia. See, seriously.
No, I'll try it later.
All right, because it might not because it's not as well. Anyway, speaking of movies a little bit, some great news in Pittsburgh, where they've been making movies here left and right of late, and why can't I find the whole dang thing? But like what movies have been made in the last year or so here? I mean, it's just been ridiculous. We've had The Warrior, the Batman movie. Who knows? There's been a million. so that every 2 seconds, I mean, it's not unusual anymore to bump into stars, right? They're everywhere. Oh, there's Tom Cruise and what's her name, Katie Holmes, with Surrey, and they're ice skating at PPG, and oh, there they are at Sorgel Orchards. And here I am getting off the bus, bumping into Jake Gyllenhaal. And there are my friends eating out and saying, Anne Hathaway is right at the next table. And some woman I heard scream on the street, oh my God, did you see that? Christian, whatever his name, Bale, just jogged by. So, listen to this. There's been 4 movie-making institutions have banded together to create what they believe is the best production site outside of Hollywood. And it's right here in our Strip District. The 31st Street Studios in the Strip District. The parties to it is the studio that did Avatar. And that is going to be called Paramount On Location. Also involved is Carnegie Mellon's Entertainment Technology Center and Night Vision. Oh, it's Night Vision, KNIGHT, which did Avatar. And also Paramount On Location, which is obviously a division of Paramount Studios, which is going to use Pittsburgh to store all of its rigging, equipment, lighting, everything to ship all over North America for any other sites. And apparently people are saying the fact is now that movies are being filmed here, they don't have to go back to California for post-production. They can stay here and do the whole dang thing. And this could potentially be huge. So we're very excited. And this Night Vision, which is based at Universal Studios in Hollywood, its founder was here yesterday, and he said they've created a special company called Night Vision 31, because it's right near the 31st Street Bridge. And he says they're going to be working with technology that is more advanced and more precise than anything that was used in Avatar or anything that's been used since. And he says we're going to be doing things here no one else is doing anywhere.
Cool.
Very exciting. So it is a step toward becoming Hollywood East. And a lot of Pittsburghers have been working on this for a long time. The Carnegie Mellon part of it is also, I think, instrumental because of the Carnegie Mellon crosses. Their 2 main things are, technology and theater. And so there's tons of CMU graduates who are in theater and actors and directors and producers and all of that. So a lot of very exciting stuff. That could be some really great jobs coming here. Lynn and Susan, did you see Rick Santorum's NASCAR at yesterday's Daytona? No, I didn't, but he did. There was someone driving a Santorum NASCAR car. I don't think Susan and I are there in their demographic.
We are NASCAR types.
Although it was on last night because it got rained out and then rained out again and all that kind of stuff. Chris writes, these women never stop doing the surgery. Just look at Joan Rivers. She's 79 years old. But don't they see what Joan Rivers looks like? And don't they see? I mean, I see there's people like they're slightly older, like a Terry Hatcher or something, and they start looking very weird. Also,
right, they do not.
And then this woman says, I thought Meryl Streep looked fabulous. She looks normal.
Yeah, she does. She has wrinkles and everything.
Yeah, she looks like a real person. And I'm willing to bet she could have had a few things done.
Well, I'm sure she's had a little something and a little something, but she's pretty much herself. I liked her speech, too.
Yes. And Margaret writes that Melanie Griffin looked better. I didn't see her.
Oh, Melanie Griffin looks like, I mean, Google a picture of Melanie Griffin, and I swear you won't even recognize her.
Well, Margaret's saying that she did look like crap for a while, but maybe she's coming back to something that looks even vaguely like something her mother might recognize. And speaking of women who don't look like themselves, a woman I was with last night told me the funniest thing. She said her mother-in-law and her father-in-law were at a theater, and they were seated, and for some reason her mother-in-law had to get up and go, maybe literally had to get up and go, whatever. And when she came back, she began to sit down, and her husband said, "No, I'm sorry, my wife is sitting here." Failure to recognize people. I said, and I'm sure that poor man has not heard the end of this. I said, when did that happen? 1992, 92 is even here. She said it's obviously a family story that people love. I'm sorry, my wife is sitting here. Well, all right. So, what's his name? David Brooks, who supposedly is a Republican, but he can't hold on much longer. David Brooks, writing in the New York Times today, is railing against what he calls regular Republicans. I think he's just delusional. They're gone. He's railing at them because he says they've allowed the party to be taken over by these yahoos. I mean, and
right.
You get the current crop you got. Yeah, my wife drives a couple of Cadillacs.
I mean, even Mike Huckabee was out there masquerading as a moderate the other day.
Well, this is what he says. He said what happened. Here's his take. That the Republicans, as they tried over the years to excite their base, and man, they excited them. They excited them to the point of insanity. And he says they didn't want to get in the way of the passion that they were stoking and the resentment that they were stoking. And while in private, he says they bemoan where the party is headed. Where the party is. David's still in a little bit of denial here. In public, he says, they do nothing. All across the nation, there are mainstream Republicans lamenting how the party has grown more and more insular, more and more rigid. Now, I don't know, where are these that's what he's asking. Where are the mainstream Republicans? Are they there? And he says they're going along with it. They're afraid to...
No, but this is what, I mean, I swear we've had this conversation where I know, at least I have said, what is the difference between these moderate Republicans and all of the moderate Muslims that we've been screaming at to stand up and take your religion back? Well, excuse me, where are all these Republicans?
Exactly right. It is the same thing. So here's some more of Brooks' fulminations. Where have these party leaders been over the past 5 years when all the forces that distort the GOP were metastasizing? Where were they during the rise of Sarah Palin and Glenn Beck? Where were they when Arizona passed its beyond the fringe immigration law? Where were they in the summer of 2011 when the House Republicans rejected even the possibility of budget compromise? I'll tell you where they were. They were lying low, hoping the unpleasantness would pass. Well, he's right about that. But he's saying that people like Orrin Hatch or Lugar, people who have been sometimes able to, be reasonable, are no longer. They've all pulled as far to the right as they can because they know if they don't, they're dead meat in a primary in their party. Ask Arlen Specter. So what's happened to all the voting moderates? Well, they'll go to he points this out. This is what's so amazing. Before this current Republican, he calls it Meshuggah campaign, talk about lingo from Jews. Meshuggah means crazy in Yiddish. Before the GOP Meshuggah campaign, now why say that and not say crazy? How many people know Meshuggah? Really? Okay. Meshuggah campaign just said everybody. Independents, listen, and they know this, independents were leading toward the Republicans. But in the latest poll, battleground poll, independents in an Obama-Romney race are with Obama 49% to 27%. Independents are going to be so turned off by all of this crap. And he says, Brooks says, and it's true, I was talking about this yesterday, that in these primaries, Republicans have lashed out at so many people are on their enemies list. You know, we could do the list, but I mean, it's just about everybody. And now, of course, it's colleges and college professors, and it's like everybody. And so they've now turned on each other. And he says, looking at these debates, it's like looking at a series of heresy trials in which every one of the candidates accuse the others of some kind of tribal impurity. And he says, you know what this all brings up, my fellow Republicans? It brings up that old pious cliche, and here's his take on it. First, they went after the Rockefeller Republicans, but I was not a Rockefeller Republican, so I did nothing. Then they went after the compassionate conservatives, but I was not a compassionate conservative, so I did nothing. Then they went after the mainstream conservatives, and there was no one left to speak for me. Yep. Of course, as a Democrat, I'm loving it. But, as I heard Bill Maher point out the other night, he said a good close to 50% of the country is still willing to vote for Republicans, right? You live in that state of Missouri. I live in Pennsylvania, which has gone from a solid Democratic state to now it's considered a toss-up because you have these hordes of Fox News, Limbaugh, evangelical church educated. This is where they get their education. And they've had that poison poured into their ears for God knows how many decades. And there's no reaching them. They're lost to us. They're gone. They're living in another reality. Oh God! Another child has died as a result of the shooting yesterday at the school in Ohio. I don't know what the hell, but let's keep our guns, guys. Let's make sure that every kid can get his hands on a gun. This month alone, at least 4 shootings of students have occurred in schools across the country. A 14-year-old Walpole, New Hampshire, went into a crowded elementary school cafeteria and shot himself in the face. A 14-year-old student in Murfreesboro was shot by 2 teens wielding guns. A .45 caliber handgun that a 9-year-old in Washington, Bremerton, Washington, had stashed in his backpack, accidentally discharged, critically wounding an 8-year-old girl. But let's keep those guns, because everybody knows how responsible people tend to be, and they'll lock them up. And they'll keep the bullets someplace else.
Keep their bullets separate, and they won't let their kids get them.
That's
they're
right.
right, because guns don't kill people.
No.
Irresponsible people kill people.
Oh, they think just criminals kill people, not irresponsible.
Well, that little kid wasn't a criminal.
God almighty. But as I was telling some of my Republican friends, you know, the Democrats lost that one. And you don't hear Democrats talking a lot about it anymore. I don't. I don't waste my breath. I just don't. I might do it in passing like I am this morning, but it's over. And
it's so over that I'm beginning to think I need to go and buy a gun and get some shooting lessons because I'm the only one left that doesn't have one.
Yeah, well, you know, Chris Potter came up with this idea, and I am so into it. He thinks all Democrats should get guns. All liberals should get guns Because if you remember the last presidential election where Obama'd be speaking and there'd be guys in the crowd.
Right. We can wear our guns.
We need to start showing up at Republican rallies armed to the teeth.
Yep.
I'm serious. And when these gun nuts see Democrats, and I'd especially like my African-American Democratic friends to arm themselves, showing up, the sight of a whole bunch of black Democrats with guns and feminists with guns and pro-choice people with guns might make them rethink it. Sort of like the Supreme Court ruling in Citizens United that the Republicans thought, we're in it now.
Right, and then they got all upset when Mayor Maher gave $1 million.
Yeah. Well, they're also getting upset in that their Republican primaries are being absolutely distorted and screwed up because this jerk in Las Vegas, this Adelson guy, can say, well, I might give Gingrich another $10 million. On the other hand, I might give him another $100 million. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Don't you think maybe he's a secret Democrat?
Who?
The guy that's totally...
No, he's insane. He sure
is helping.
He's a filthy rich person.
When we women arm ourselves, though, we have to go with an aspirin glued between our knees. We might walk funny, but it would be a good point.
You know, before we go, because we do have to go, I want to say that I never understood that when he said, we have an aspirin between us. I didn't even understand what he was saying. And then
it means if you keep your legs together, you can't get pregnant.
So he's talking about one aspirin tablet, that if you keep your knees that close together to keep an aspirin there, you can't have sex?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Because, it's always the woman's fault when she becomes pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, dear God. Okay, well, Sue.
Okay, bye.
Nice talking at you.
Bye.
Why do you sound so... Are you doing you're doing sort of an exhausted thing on the end. That's not quite...
I know, I'm thinking that I have to go and exercise.
Yeah, well, I'm right behind you. All righty.
Okay,
thanks,
bye.
Suze. Bye. All right, you guys, tomorrow we will talk... Whatever the results. Oh, God. Go, Ricky. Go, Ricky. I want Ronnie to lose tomorrow, which will throw the Republicans into a total freak out. Please, please. Okay? We'll talk tomorrow. Chris Potter in the house. Have a great day.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.